Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. As the United States and its allies in the war on terrorism press the hunt for Osama bin Laden, CBS News has exclusive information tonight about where bin Laden was and what he was doing in the last hours before his followers struck the United States September 11th. This is a result of hard-nosed investigative reporting by a team of CBS News journalists and by one of the best foreign correspondents in the business, CBS's Barry Peterson. Here is Peterson's exclusive report.
Everyone remembers what happened on September 11th. Here's the story of what may have happened the night before. It is a tale as twisted as the hunt for Osama bin Laden. CBS News has been told that the night before the September 11th terrorist attack, Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan. He was getting medical treatment with the support of the very military that days later pledged its backing for the U.S. war on terror in Afghanistan. Pakistan intelligence sources tell CBS News that bin Laden was spirited into this military hospital in Rawalpindi for kidney dialysis treatment. On that night, says this medical worker who wanted her identity protected, they moved out all the regular staff in the urology department and sent in a secret team to replace them. She says it was treatment for a very special person. The special team was obviously up to no good. The military had him surrounded, says this hospital employee who also wanted his identity masked. And I saw the mysterious patient helped out of a car. Since that time, he says, I have seen many pictures of the man. He is the man we know as Osama bin Laden. I also heard two Army officers talking to each other. They were saying that Osama bin Laden had to be watched carefully and looked after. Those who know bin Laden say he suffers from numerous ailments, back and stomach problems. Ahmed Rashid, who has written extensively on the Taliban, says the military was often there to help before 9/11.
There were reports that Pakistani intelligence had helped the Taliban buy dialysis machines, and the rumor was that these were wanted for Osama bin Laden.
Doctors at the hospital told CBS News there was nothing special about that night, but they refused our request to see any records. Government officials tonight denied that Osama bin Laden had any medical treatment on that night. But it was Pakistan's President Musharraf who said in public what many suspected, that bin Laden suffers from kidney disease, saying he thinks bin Laden may be near death. His evidence, watching this most recent video showing a pale and haggard bin Laden, his left hand never moving. Bush administration officials admit they don't know if bin Laden is sick or even dead.
With respect to the issue of Osama bin Laden's health, I just don't have any knowledge.
The U.S. has no way of knowing who in Pakistan's military or intelligence supported the Taliban or Osama bin Laden, maybe up to the night before 9/11 by arranging dialysis to keep him alive. So the U.S. may not know if those same people might help him again, perhaps to freedom. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Islamabad.
I don't know whether we're going to get him tomorrow, or a month from now, or a year from now. But we're going to get him. Dead or alive.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands.
It's time to stop being so gullible. How many times have we caught our government and other governments lying to us? They lied about the Gulf of Tonkin in 1964 to get us into the Vietnam War. Said that attacks happened to our ships that never occurred. It's now been declassified that it was totally staged. We were lied to about WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, in a premeditated way to launch the war against Iraq. We were told Saddam was training Al-Qaeda. They showed us the satellite photos of the beached aircraft that they were training in. Turned out it was all a lie. They showed the world, once they took over Iraq, the mobile anthrax labs that launched the attacks on America. Turned out it was a super U.S. government strain and launched out of Fort Detrick, Maryland. And the anthrax mobile labs were British hardware sold to the Iraqis on record that were for pumping up hydrogen balloons to direct artillery during the Iran-Iraq war years before. The point is they premeditatedly lie to all of us. You know, I could go on for hours with lies. And I could go on for hours about the lies of the bin Laden fable on May 1st, a few weeks ago. And we've had the international media across the board attack us and call us conspiracy theorists for simply pointing out the inconsistencies in the official fable itself. But before I get into the latest developments, I just want to be clear. I was told by Dr. Pachinik, who was the co-author of Tom Clancy's book and who has been a major Hollywood producer with huge Tom Clancy films that have come out, who did write the psychological warfare manuals for the CIA and State Department. I was told in 2002 by him, and I've since interviewed him again, that bin Laden had died of Marfan's disease. You can only live a few years with that. He had total kidney failure. Nobody lives longer than 6 years, even on dialysis. And it came out in CBS News that he indeed was at the American hospital being visited and treated by U.S. doctors and the CIA months before 9/11. We'll play a short clip of that CBS newscast with Dan Rather for you.
CBS News has been told that the night before the September 11th terrorist attack, Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan. He was getting medical treatment with the support of the very military that days later pledged its backing for the U.S. war on terror in Afghanistan. Pakistan intelligence sources tell CBS News that bin Laden was spirited into this military hospital in Rawalpindi for kidney dialysis treatment.
So we know bin Laden died a long time ago. And then I interviewed, off record, 2 high-level Bush administration people that blew the whistle for me in 2002. We were the first to report that. Then Madeleine Albright came out on Fox News with Morton Kondracki's show and said they have his body frozen or plan to roll it out in the 2004 election and that they better not. Then Walter Cronkite, the late Walter Cronkite, very high-powered at the time, deep member of the elite organizations, came out and said the same thing. Teresa Heinz Kerry. But that's just setting the table. We already knew he was dead, okay? So don't tell me the government won't stage stuff. You know, I get emails and see comments on some of these videos we've put out that have 800, 900,000 views covering this bin Laden situation. And I'll see comments like, well, they've got a face print. They've got his DNA. Oh, really? And that's been released? No, it hasn't been released. I mean, the FBI crime lab was on record over a decade ago framing people on an industrial scale. Look at all the other crime lab scandals where they frame people in Houston, Texas, and San Francisco, California. Thousands of people a year on record. They just frame people. But they won't even release that fake evidence. They won't release a photo, but select members of the Senate are allowed to see it. They don't want Photoshop experts being able to look at it. But then there's all the other lies. We're told there was a 40-minute firefight, and on the news they put up animations of bin Laden firing and fighting, a guy that could hardly walk 10 years ago with his disease. Turned out that wasn't true. They told us he used his wife as a shield. Turns out that wasn't true. Said it was this huge, elaborate palace. Looked like a Chicago crack house or Dallas crack house to me. Then we're told that the Navy SEALs were told to go in and kill him, and that he resisted, but he didn't resist. Then that they were to capture him, but they went ahead and still killed him. If he's the biggest intelligence prize for the 160 buried nukes in the U.S., they tell us, and KSM says there's nukes, and that if we kill bin Laden, this is weeks before getting you all scared, that they're going to nuke us, why didn't they get that intelligence asset back if waterboarding's so great and gave us the leads, which they now admit isn't true? They're trying to sell us on torture because we'll put up with that, we'll put up with anything. If he's the greatest intelligence asset in modern history, why didn't they capture him? Lies, lies, lies. Then we were shown that Situation Room photo. And there was Obama looking tough. He's a guy who's decisive. Turns out it was all fake. They told us they were watching live video feeds. Days later, actually there's no live video feed and they weren't watching anything. We live in a total system of lies. Then I see all the big mainstream news articles saying, oh, what's Alex Jones going to do now? They've released 5 videos captured in the compound. And all of the, quote, new videos but one, and we've written articles about this and show the still images side by side, are previous bin Laden videos that were released many years ago. And notice he never ages. And we have the CIA admitting last May that they have released fake bin Laden videos before in the Washington Post. So we have a government that lies to us constantly, admits they've made fake bin Laden videos. We get the 5 new videos, and they're all recycled videos. And so folks wouldn't notice that as much, because all they did was change some of the color tint on it in the chroma controls of the video editor. They didn't release audio on the new ones, because you can even watch the lips move with the old videos. It's not just the same old video, it's the same audio. So they didn't release that. That's how lazy they are. That's how stupid they think you are. Lie after lie after lie after lie after lie.
Did you know this? Before Jesse Ventura was governor, or even a wrestling star, or even a bodyguard for all kinds of rock bands, as he explained to me in the commercial break, he was a Navy SEAL. He was in the Navy for 6 years. And, sir, I know it's a time in your life you don't really talk about it publicly, but Governor, you had been saying for a while that there were special ops, right, going on inside of Pakistan. Were you surprised when all these details pretty quickly started eking out about that operation and Abbottabad that took out bin Laden?
Well, naturally I'm proud that it was my former guys. We're members of the teams, and you're once a frogman, once a SEAL, always one. I'm proud of them. They're the best guys to do the job. They're the most highly trained. They will get the job done. But having said that, for the guys on the ground, which I have the utmost respect for and give them a hoo-yah, we can go to the political side. Deep down in my gut, I got a bad feeling because my government lies to me so often, I don't know what I can believe anymore when they tell me they've killed bin Laden.
So hang on a second, Jesse Ventura.
Don't show your body or whatever.
Do you believe? Wait. Do you believe that Osama bin Laden is dead?
I don't know. They lied to me on the murder of Pat Tillman. They lied to me on the rescue of Jessica Lynch. They lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and they lied about ties to Al Qaeda. What
would it take for the government to prove to you, as your TV show is called Conspiracy Theories, what would it take for you to believe that he's dead?
I don't know. I like I said, I want to believe he's dead, but when you have someone in your lifetime in a period of 10 years that tells you a half a dozen major lies, it becomes difficult then when they do tell you the truth. How do you know you're getting the truth?
So back when everyone was talking about whether or not his photos, back when everyone was talking about whether or not his photos should have been released, you would have said what? Yes?
Well, let's look at the situation. They said he was on a dialysis machine 10 years ago. Experts have said the disease he suffered from is generally fatal within 2 years. How did he manage to survive 10?
We don't even know. They don't even know for sure if he had one kidney or not. So let's move on. Let's talk politics because I want to talk about.
Let's ask this.
Go ahead.
How do we kill a guy that we never indict?
Jesse Ventura, I'm asking the questions today. Let's talk politics.
Okay.